In this video, we're going to talk about pitching financing to your patients and why it's important. And that's because the more applications that you run, the more financing applications will get approved. When these applications get approved, then more patients feel the ability to say yes. Like you might have seen this where a patient who was on the fence, they wanted to think about it, they got an approved application. All of a sudden, they're moving forward with treatment. This is why it increases your case acceptance and your treatment acceptance. More patients will say yes, and they'll accept higher amounts of the treatment. This is so key because you've already invested the majority of your time to bring this patient into your office and to diagnose this patient. You should do everything in your power to capitalize and to bring them home. So how do we do this? It's exactly what I'm going to show you. Step one is we want to confirm their desire for treatment. This is often overlooked. It's the biggest reason you're getting think about it objections is they're not sure about the treatment. So you want to reconfirm that they understand the treatment, that they want the treatment. Best is for you to get them to explain a little bit from their side. This is why I want the treatment as a patient. When they do this, you know you're really solid on treatment desire. Then we're going to get them to explicitly say that they're having a financial challenge. This transforms your think about it objection, talk to the wife objection, want to do it later, going on vacation. This transforms an unsolvable objection into something you can solve. So we're just going to ask them, hey, do you like the price? Ooh, scary question. They're probably going to say no. Perfect. I can get to the financing now. This is what I call the two pillars of your case, that being the treatment desire and the financing side. All right, so you have treatment and you have money. And these two things support your case. If one of these things is broken, then your case falls apart. Same thing for the money, right? Most of you think you're losing it because of the money. Sometimes it's because of the treatment. But you need both. Financing solves the money side, by the way. So the best way to combine these is you can ask the patient, hey, if you had $100 million in the bank, would you get started with treatment today? Now, what have we done? So we ask the patient, explain why you want the treatment. We confirm with the patient money's an issue, and then we ask this question, which is doubling down on both, right? If the patient wants treatment, they'll always say yes to this question. And when they say yes, we have now paved the path to offer financing. One of the reasons you struggle or you sometimes get objections is because you haven't made it logically clear to the patient why they should apply for financing. You tell them, hey, check out our financing partner. They go, I have bad credit. My financial planner says debt is bad. We're thinking about getting a mortgage. I don't like paying monthly, right? They give you all these excuses because these two things aren't clear, because the pillars of your case are not solid. So you confirm these first. Make sense? Okay, so once they say yes, they would do it if they had $100 million in the bank. Then we're going to ask an easy yes question. The easy yes question is always designed to get an easy yes. If you've seen the 3 E's, you know easy yes questions. So you ask them, okay, if I could make the payments smaller, would that make it easier? Notice this is a very non-committal question. If the patient says yes, which we want them to say, then they're still not committing to the treatment yet. That's perfect. We want them to say yes, and we want them to say it with low pressure. If I could make the payments smaller, would that make it easier? Right? We get another yes. Now we've added the next logical step to come over here to offer the financing. Now it's really important that we explain how we're just going to do a soft pull to find out the options, right? Soft pull, no impact on your credit score. Now, of course, if they accept the pre-approval offer and they go to actually apply, yes, it's going to impact their credit. But to find out, it costs them nothing. And this is the beautiful thing, right? The soft pull has no impact on your credit to find out your options, right? Remember, the patient just said if the payments were smaller, it would be easier. Let's find out if we have the option to make payments smaller. Zero cost. Now, you might have to handle objections at this point. They might say, oh, I don't believe in debt. This and this and that, right? So if you have to handle objections, remember, we're going to use the 3 E's. This is another video. Check out the 3 E's video if you want to know how do I lower my patient's emotional resistance, right? But you're going to do the 3 E's if there's any emotional resistance to the objections. Essentially, you really want to be aware that they might go with the low credit objection. The patient might say, oh, my credit's too low to apply. You're always going to reassure them to apply anyways. Why? Because there's no impact on their credit to do a soft pull to find out the options that they need to know to make their payments smaller because they're dealing with money issues and they want the treatment. Notice how we come back to the 2 pillars that support our case. This is why you need to confirm these things at the beginning. Okay, so we've now reassured our patient that they can apply and they've applied for financing. Congratulations, you've walked them through the process. So the biggest takeaway to remember is we're always going to rest on pillar number 1, which is the treatment desire. Why does this patient want the treatment? What outcomes are they getting? If you're not asking your patients these questions earlier in the consult, you're going to run into issues, right? But we always rely on this to move the entire process forward. That's why we start with confirming the treatment desire. That's why it's one of our pillars to getting a yes for the case. Now, with that said, it means we can keep moving forward until the patient says no to the treatment. Why? Because we have this logical step-by-step progression that gets the patient to apply for the soft pull, right? Now, what you do with the patient after they get a pre-approval, that's up to you. But once you get more pre-approvals, your patients will be a lot more eager to move forward. That's why you need to focus on the treatment desire. When you use this as your bedrock, this is why you're moving the patient forward, because they said they believe in the treatment, they believe their life will change. Then it gives you the moral authority to help them move forward. So you're always going to keep moving forward until the patient says, hey, you know what? This is not the right treatment for me. If they say that, you say, thank you so much for your time. If you change your mind, we'd love to have you back. But otherwise, they told you they want the treatment, so we're going to keep moving forward. This is the process to logically do it so you can run more applications, get more approvals, increase your case and treatment acceptance.